Village Radio 107.5 FM WJGW. Your community connection is here with our new app that's available now on your Google Play for Androids and the App Store for your iPhone. To download, go to our search bar and type in 107.5 FM WJGW. I want to encourage you to take us with you wherever you go, playing the best in gospel and Christian music 24 hours around the clock. This app has many great features such as song history, song alert, song requests, voice and shout-outs, just to name a few. It even has local news highlights, keeping you up on what's happening in your community. There's also a button for you to share with your family and friends to enjoy as well. So please download and share this wonderful app and enjoy the wonderful music and features with WJGW. The Village Radio, your community connection where it still takes a village. Now be blessed.
WJGW, it is the first Monday of 2025, and we are here with the conversation with FPUNA. So we are going to get into a conversation. We have Rachel. Rachel is in the building with us, and we have our executive director, Pastor Hazel Horman, and yeah, we're here to have a conversation with FPUNA. You want to tune in, you make sure you sit down, get your pad and your pencil ready. All right.
FPU what?
FPUNA.
NA? No, bro.
What is it?
FPUA.
It's what?
Look, it got me messing up. It's Fort Pierce Utilities Authority.
FPUA.
You say A and A.
Oh, okay. I switch things up a little bit.
Amen.
Rachel.
So, again, we have Rachel in the house with us with Fort Pierce Utilities. Rachel, why don't you introduce yourself to our Facebook Live and to our radio audience?
Sure. Thanks. My name is Rachel Tennant. I'm the Director of Public Affairs and Sustainability at Fort Pierce Utilities. Our group oversees really the community relationship, making sure that we're communicating properly all the different things that are going on at FPUA in a way that the community can receive it and in a way that really lets folks know what we're doing. And we also oversee the grants program, so trying to bring funding to help pay for different upgrades, bring funding for things like septic to sewer programs, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So that's really good. I know Commissioner Johnson came in. He wanted you just to inform our community about, and I may get some information wrong, so I'm so glad you're here to help correct me on that. I think it was houses built before 1968?
1986.
1986.
You're
oh,
close.
My God. Okay, 1986. Oh, I switched the numbers. So 1986, and the piping that goes to the house, as well as the piping that goes from the street to the house, because of a mandate that came down from the Biden administration, talking about maybe with the older housing, the older piping, there could be some lead that's going into our water supply, and that, so talk to us about that. Give us a little bit more clarity, or bring us back up to date on that, please.
Sure, yeah, thanks. So the FPUA does, all the different utilities, water, wastewater, electric, natural gas. And so, as you were saying, this one pertains to the drinking water.
Right.
And so when Biden first took office, he released an executive order that basically said, Biden-Harris said, we're going to become a lead-free nation. And that covers paint, and largely paint. Lead-based paint was really common in older homes, and it covered the drinking water, because there used to be lead used in the pipes or in the solder to connect the pipes.
Right.
And so after he released that executive order, the Environmental Protection Agency, which oversees the Clean Drinking Water Act, or the Safe Drinking Water Act, modified their rule. And it's that modification that led us here, which is basically looking at a complete inventory of the public side and the private side pipes. And what are they made of? If it's older facilities, there's a chance that there's lead either in the pipes or in the solder to connect the pipes. And that's kind of the beginning of all this.
Right. So Talk to us about where we are now as a result of that executive order. Where is Fort Pierce Utilities now with moving forward to make sure that the citizens of this great, beautiful city of Fort Pierce have safe drinking water?
Sure. So the executive order didn't change too much for FPUA because as soon as the lead ban was put into place, which was nationwide 1986, and then Florida did 1989. But as soon as that happened, we already started this process of inventorying and swapping out anything that had lead pipes or lead solder. So when this executive order came out, it didn't really change that. What it did was create a mandate that we put together a comprehensive inventory, a snapshot, if you will, and a map, and then put together a plan, a written plan, essentially, of how we're going to do it. And so that's what we've been doing. And so the first big deadline was October of 2024, which was just a few months ago. And that was when we needed to have the website complete. So we have a live website. The website also needed to include the live map that customers can access. You can type in your address to see what the results on your property are so far. And then in November, we needed to send letters, physical letters. And at the time, we had, and I wrote this down so I didn't get it wrong, about 12,400 that were unknown. And so we sent out a lot of letters to say, we're looking at it. There's this many, your property is unknown. And we sent those letters out. We've done a few communications. We've done the website with the map, with the FAQs. And now we've dedicated 2 employees full-time to going out and tackling these unknowns. So they've got about 1,600 tackled since that time. And they're just every day, that's what they're doing.
When you say tackle, they go physically to that property?
They do now. Originally, sometimes one of the first steps, because there's that 1986 date,
right?
Anything that was built after that time, we know is not lead because there was a lead ban. So
right.
there's no lead. So that was kind of step one. Anything 1986 or later, we're okay on, or after 1986. But we had to do that research first. And so we're looking at the building codes, we're looking at the property appraisers, anything we could find that could indicate when things were built. That helped us in that stage first when
right.
we really need to ramp it up. But we're past all that now. And now it's literally physically going to the property and digging up the meter in the ground and looking at the pipes on both sides. You look at the pipe that's coming from the road, and then you look at the pipe that's coming from the house, and you have to determine is there lead or galvanized material? And that's what they're doing. They're going out digging.
They're going out digging.
Yep.
Okay, so let's say my house was built after 1986, and you went and you checked the pipes on the outside of the house. What about the inside?
So this inventory is not looking at the pipes inside the home. We're only looking at the meter outside, which is on the property line, and the pipes that go into that meter as an indicator of whether there's lead in your home. But there's going to be instances, for example, maybe there's a very old facility, or it was originally built there a long time ago. And so maybe the service connection at the property line contains lead. But that building itself had since been renovated or
right.
rebuilt. It won't necessarily, especially if it was after 1986, it won't have the lead in the building, even if we find it there. So there is a next step for folks if you want to look inside the pipes in your house, and but that's separate, and that's something that certified plumbers would need to come in and take a look for.
Okay, so help me to understand a little bit better. So the mandate came down. We understand that. We know that lead is bad. We understand having lead in the water is bad, especially for our young children, developing minds. We understand that. And so Fort Pierce Utility is just looking at what's connected to Fort Pierce Utilities, but what is in the house, that's based on the owner of the house or the landowner. Am I correct?
Mostly, yes. So what's in the house, yes, that's on the property owner or the homeowner to look at. The utility is looking on the private side of the connection to the meter.
Right.
If there's lead there, that can be an indicator that there may be lead further up in the home. So that can be one way to say, hey, you may want to take a look. But we are looking at both sides of that, but we're not going in the home.
Right.
Yeah.
So as a homeowner and looking at piping, and it's old piping, are there any grants or is there any financial help if my house has the old piping in it?
We're looking. This is all coming down from the EPA. And so what we're hoping is that we'll be able to find funding through the EPA. The funding that we have found so far has been targeted at the public side. So they've made funding available for utilities to make the major changes of pipes on the public side. Any funding that the customers would need to be allowed to be used on private property. And many of these grants are either federal dollars or state dollars.
Right.
And so that's what we're looking for. And I do think we've seen one that came through, but the requirements on that grant were so very high for what you needed to have in place as a utility and a community. I get the feeling that it was targeted toward some of the more northeast areas that you think Flint, Michigan, for example, that had significant, they had just lead pipes everywhere.
Right.
But that's what we're looking for. We're looking for something that will work, that we would be eligible for here, that we would then be able to work with the community for those things.
What is the website? You talked about the website. What is the website that someone can go look at? Granted, may not be computer literate, but she has a grandchild or a child that can go to that website to see, what it is. What's that website?
It is fpua.com/lead-copper. And if you go to fpua.com, just the homepage, there's kind of a banner that moves a little bit.
Right.
It's one of those options there too. Right now, it's available in English, and just a couple weeks ago we published it in Spanish, and we're working on a Creole translation right now as well.
Right. Well, I think, and I could be wrong, but there's in the North Fort Pierce or the Lincoln Park area, a lot of those houses are old houses. Mm-hmm. So, at some point, will you guys just go door to door to those that may not respond to the letter, or?
So we've looked at different ways to reach the community.
Right.
And the door-to-door model is very challenging for a group with the resources that we have. We don't have a lot of the resources to be able to send folks within communities. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a certain kind of people who are able to connect well and speak on these things. Right now, the way that we're trying to reach the community, we're here, we're making ourselves available to come, we're happy to speak, to go to the round tables where we met, to come to the radio stations. We've presented at the city commission, the board. We have the website, and we have a phone number, and that phone number goes straight to real humans within FPUA.
Is there a kit that Fort Pierce Utility has that me as a customer can call and say, look, I heard, I saw that young lady named Rachel on Facebook Live with Pastor Hazel. I heard her on the radio. Is there a kit that they can get from you guys in order to test the water?
Not right now. So we did reach out to a couple different local contacts. We tried to reach out to the county, see if they had any way, the county health department,
right?
See if there was something there we might be able to do. There's just nothing in place here right now. It's one of the things that when we find a grant opportunity, those are the kinds of things that we can build into that grant. So,
right.
So not only funding to help customers on the private side make the changes they need, but also help us put together resources that we're able to give out. We don't have one right now, but it is on our radar.
So a lot of this for Facebook Live and for the radio is just to make you aware of what's going on in our community. We are your community connection at WJGW 107.5 in the beautiful city of Fort Pierce. And Commissioner Johnson brought this to our attention. And so we just wanted to bring Rachel in to talk about it. So we're giving you a lot of information, even though we're not giving you a lot of solutions yet. But the solutions are coming. And that's what we want to say. The solutions are coming. So if you receive that letter, there's a number you can call to get more information. You will see them out at your houses, those houses that were built before 1980s. I mean, after 19, before. Before and after Hazel. Before 1986, you may see them out there digging and want to know why they're digging. This is what they're doing. They are testing those pipes. They're testing that water to see if there's any lead in them at all. So on your end, once, let's say that there is lead, what do you do once you find it on your end?
We replace it. And that's something, it only takes, from what I'm hearing, if we identify something that's got lead on the utility side, from that point through getting the permit and getting it changed, it's taking 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So that's happening real fast. And I did want to say, the big part of this conversation is the unknowns.
Right.
It's that effort that's going in, that FPUA, as far as solutions go. We've dedicated the 2 full-time staff because the unknowns is our big unknown, is our issue right now.
Right.
As far as the number of known lead, right now there's 124.
Oh, wow.
Right. It's quite small in the grand scheme of things. There's still 124. We don't want any.
Right.
But there's about 10,700 unknown. And so it's the unknowns.
So when you say unknowns, is there a certain area, a zip code that the unknowns are in?
It's not. So we've been talking about this too. And so we had the GIS folks at FPUA do one of their analyses because this is all, mapped.
Right.
And they can do this sort of heat map to show you where are there any hot spots. And it's throughout. The 124, they're throughout because there's just some areas, there's some areas that we know as older, but a lot of the areas have facilities that are older. Even if the whole neighborhood itself is new, there's something in there that's older. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what we're finding.
Okay. All right. So, again, we're with Rachel and we're talking about Fort Pierce Utilities and the mandate that came down from the Biden and Harris administration, wanting for the United States to be totally lead free. Yep. Which I completely agree with. Mm-hmm. I completely agree with that. Mm-hmm. And so they're doing their part on going out and testing where the water meter is and where the water goes into the house to see if there's any lead there. And then when they receive more funding and grants, then they're able to maybe help the owners of the land, the houses later as well. Just going back again, you talked about you went to the round table, or you've gone to different places. Are you open to speaking with pastors? Because in the congregations, not just African American, but all congregations, we have access to people that you do not, that may not have an opportunity to get this information.
Yes, and I think that's one of the things that, we're here talking about lead and copper, but we're the public affairs group, and the whole point is connection and communication. And the more we can be connected with the people we're trying to connect with or communicate with, the more effective we are. I mean, we're here working for you, doing this for you. So absolutely, anything we can do.
Okay. So is there a number, Rachel, where they can contact you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can call me directly. My extension.
Say it directly, because I'm just saying, it's Monday.
Yep. So my phone number, it's the same base. So 772-466-1600. And my extension is 3012. And that'll come right to me.
We can put that on the website too, right, Louis? Yes. And on our app as well? Okay, good. So we'll link it. So you can also go to our website. Once again, thank you so much for being here with us. I'm Pastor Hazel with In the Image of Christ Incorporated. I am also the senior pastor of House of Prayer for All People in the beautiful city of Fort Pierce. And our whole heart is to get information to our community, all our community, so that we can live a healthier lifestyle. That's what I like, healthier lifestyle. And sometimes that can be a little difficult, but we're working on it, and we're working on it together. Thank you again, Rachel. Is there anything else you want to share before we go off?
I think just the one final thing. I think it's kind of a big deal. I want to really convey that the drinking water is safe. The water that comes out of the treatment plant is lead-free, and there's treatments that are done to it that make it less likely to leach lead or any metals from pipes. It's just when we find those materials in the pipes, that's where there can be a risk. It leaves the treatment plant completely safe, but then once we get into those risky pipes is when, and that's why we're doing this, because now we're expanding kind of that effort straight into the pipes.
I'm really glad you said that. So to understand that the water that's leaving the treatment plant is completely lead free, which we already knew that. We already knew. So we're focusing on those pipes where the water can actually leach that lead from, and then that's what caused the hazards to humans.
Yep.
And so that's what we're talking about. The water is safe to drink, but if you're in a house that is older than 1986,
86, yep. Mm-hmm.
86.
I did. Oh,
no. You the numbers too.
You got me.
1986. You
Yep.
just want to be aware. If you receive that letter, you want to contact Fort Pierce Utilities. It's not a bill, y'all. It's just information. Okay, it's not a bill. It's just information that we need. And I'm really grateful for Rachel coming in and talking with us. Once again, you're listening to WJGW 107.5 in the beautiful city of Fort Pierce. And we're just really grateful to God for this day. Always remember that He's for you and not against you. This is the day that He has made. So rejoice and be glad in it. And know that it is a choice now for you to rejoice.